Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, August 14th. We're taking a look at the S&P via ES here for a quick session recap. So we came into the session with a main watch of essentially not only the prior day high, but this prior area of support right through here. So the 54.35 by kind of prior day high zone was the primary focus, just kind of leaning on that prior structure that you can see there on the chart. See if I can clean this up a bit. Right through here, essentially, up into that prior day high. So looking at that prior area of support, we can see how responsive buyers have been there previously, and then the prior day's high as the primary reference point coming into today's session. Now, anytime that we have a trend day move, the expectation is typically for a slower session, more of a compression type of session. That tends to be the norm. Now, as always, like anything in markets, it's not a 100% thing, but that tends to be the norm. And so that tends to be what I'm personally looking for. And that's pretty much what we saw today. We did get some decent moves, some decent opportunities there in both ES and NQ. But for the most part, it was a sleepier session. We did have one half of a normal ATR move today, 49-point move on ES, and the ATR is 96.8 for the actual session. So looking at that intraday action today, kind of have a lot of chop early on in the sesh. VWAP being respected. There's some 2-hour trader framework setups through there, as well as over here later on in the afternoon. But largely, I mean, look at this action through here. Like right through here. A lot of barcode, right? A lot of barcode, or through here. There's just little segments of just pure barcode that you really want to be careful in that type of action, making sure that you're getting very good entries, nice tight entries, so you don't get shaken out or chopped up. Now, ultimately, today is kind of more of a neutral day, right? Not a real trend day move or anything like that. Typically, this is the type of session that you're going to see following a true trend day move. Now, I do want to come back into the main theme of this week, because this is what we've been talking about since essentially last Friday. It's the fact that we do have that weekly hammer, and we're continuing the theme with that continuation of the weekly time frame hammer. So buyers continue to show that follow through. We did see some attempts at some selling today, but nothing really all that significant. Really, all of the selling today was quickly absorbed, which, again, that tends to be the norm following a session like we saw yesterday. If you look at yesterday's session, the low down through here, and then if we take the fib retracement, even if you just draw it into prior day high, yesterday's high, you have the shallow fib marking today's low. Let's kind of change the time frame here so you get more clarity on that. So Fibonacci from yesterday's low into yesterday's high. First shallow fib is quickly absorbed. Now, if you draw this up into the pre-market high, which is what I tend to do, still just absorbed. Those sellers absorbed before that 38% fib retracement is even tested. So buyers continue to show their strength here. And then look at this move into the close. Look at that. Just vertical into the close, back into that 54.85 level of interest. I had mentioned in the live stream today, switching to a 5-minute chart when it's a little choppier can really help to clean things up if you're not getting clear signals on that 1 minute. Widen the time frame a bit, 2 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. These things really help out as far as actually getting some clarity on what's happening with price. And you can see how much cleaner it is on this 5-minute chart for today's session. Now, as far as tomorrow, what we're looking at for tomorrow, it is Thursday. We do have some retail sales for tomorrow. Kind of the challenging thing about the current setup and the current location is that price is bumping into that prior volume point of control through here at 5,500. So that's going to be a big psychological level. And then you also have all the resistance through here. So I expect this 5,500 by essentially, 5,530 area to be somewhat challenging for buyers. That would be, I would treat that more of like a caution type of zone for me personally, because I am focused on trading long setups. And so that is an area where I would not want too much involvement with the S&P. May shift the focus to NQ or just not trade, right? For tomorrow specifically, what I'll be looking at, just to keep it simple given the current location, is today's high and then that 5,500 upside level of interest. I want to see if this buying activity from essentially the break of last week's high is going to show continuation, right? But keep in mind, we are now 5 days higher. So it is getting to be a little bit extreme. We can definitely see that 6th day. We can see that 7th day. It's within the realm of possibilities. But with every day, consecutive day higher, you have a increased chance of that next red day, right? So some things that we want to keep an eye out for. You can see on the daily chart pretty clearly here the importance of this zone through here. Prior support all through here, then becomes resistance, right? Price is coming up into that area. It's that 5,500 by 5,530. Nothing like what we saw yesterday, where price is moving very, very quickly through this volume void. Look at this volume void here. You can even see it on the daily time frame chart, but it's more apparent on the hourly and 2 hour here. Price breaks up through this area and just moves quickly through that volume void. Right now we're into all this congestion. So a couple of things to be watching for. Now, the challenging thing is if you're wanting to short versus, that area of resistance, that's definitely reasonable. But again, the challenge with that is that you're up against that weekly time frame bar now. So this is what I call like a multiple time frame misalignment. We don't have all of the time frames in alignment with each other, and it makes for more challenging conditions. You have to be staying nimble, making sure you're trading with good location, right? Flexing that patience muscle, not rushing off of the open or anything like that, just waiting for that best setup to really materialize. Once you have some clarity with how the intraday structure is going to be unfolding. So tomorrow, main watch, today's high as well as that 5,500 level of interest. So it'll be 5,485 and 5,500 as that primary watch. And then we essentially want to start assessing whether or not sellers start to show up in this zone, or if price just flies right through that area. Let's jump over to NQ. So NQ, you can see my daily time frame fib still on the chart here. We had talked about this today in the live stream. That 50% fib tends to be where you'll start to see some sellers materialize. We did see that with the partial retracement of yesterday's move. But again, buyers just quickly absorbing it. So if we do that same exercise that we did in ES and take a look at yesterday's trend day move, and just looking at specifically yesterday's move, you could see the low is marked there near that 38% fib right through here. Now using the pre-market high, yeah, same, not a big shift there with the fib. I mean, it did kind of blip lower almost into that 50%, I did want to see a true test of that 50% there, and then the 18,900 level of interest. That would have been a phenomenal long, right? You can see it here on the prior day structure as well. Unfortunately for me, that play was front run. That play was front run, and that was just a little too much risk if you were in the live stream. Wondering why I didn't grab that. That's just a little too much risk there, because I want to set my risk on 18,900. So nice bounce, very nice bounce in the index. You get that kind of leg higher, right? Price essentially gives you the up thrust, sweeps the session high, pretty much running the stop on anyone who shorted during this. Typical liquidity type of move, and then just chop, pure chop. So we do have a lot of volume through this area now. Look at today's volume point of control, and then yesterday's volume point of control. We likely have the weekly volume point of control up through here. You can't see it, but there it is. It's that blue line right through here. So all of the volume, or the majority of the volume for this week so far, 3 days into the week, has been done at 19,075 right through here, right? And so if this is reaccumulation, we'll want to see buying activity up and through today's high, up and through that 50% daily time frame fib retracement. Now, another possibility, considering the current structure, let me delete some of these fibs off of here, is for price to settle just into a new range, right? Compression through here, expansion. Do we see more compression through here? Maybe expansion, right? Compression. So it's typically how it goes with price action and volatility. So that's another scenario to be considering, especially considering how much volume is through here and the prior range. So a couple of different scenarios to be keeping in mind. To keep it simple, what I'll be looking at for tomorrow is essentially the reaction versus today's high and this higher time frame volume point of control, essentially 19,200. That should keep us on the right side of the move. So I hope you guys had a great sesh. If you have any questions, as always, reach out in the Traders Think Tank. I can't read your mind, so if you're struggling with anything and you don't tell me, I can't help you. So definitely don't be afraid to send a message. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow morning. We will be live again with a private live stream. So have a good evening. Take care. See you in the morning.